Hey everyone, this is Chef. Welcome back to Empirical Sahara, our Africa desert themed franchise mode zoo. I really wanted to take a crack at the Fennec Fox exhibit today, but the more that I look at our budget and the more that I think about just how much that project is going to cost, and the more that I think about like how much mesh is going to be involved in that build specifically, I think I need to take a year off and work on some of the guest themed areas of the zoo. We need to let our finances build up a little bit. So I think what we're going to do in this episode is I'm going to build a really quick and dirty template for how I want this habitat to look. I have a very specific image in my mind, and I'm really excited about building it. But I think I'm going to build the template for that so that I can leave it somewhere and think about it. And then we're going to work on some guest services. So, speaking of, something that I noticed right after we finished last time is that two of these buildings are outside of our power network. And if I move this generator any further in that direction, it is going to pull itself away from the stuff over here that needs to get powered. So I think the first thing that we need to do is we need to take this and we need to move it. Specifically, I think we need to move it over like here. Because this should be within range of our power network. Let's just double check quick. Yeah, and in fact, we can actually pull it back a little bit so that there's a bit of space for guests to queue. And then over here, with our leftover space, you're going to be a problem, aren't you? How can I get rid of that? What if I add to it and then take some of it away? Oh, there we go. And then with this leftover space, we're going to put in a bathroom. So we're just going to, well, after our cash rebuilds. Because I think you cost 2,000, something like that. Yeah, all right. So when our cash rebuilds, we're going to put a bathroom down as well. Adax is about to mate. Good time to just give our animals a quick once over in terms of welfare. You're sad that you don't have food enrichment or toy enrichment. I can actually give you some of that. Now that I have this animal burrow, you can have one of those, and then you can also have a scratching tree. And then maybe one food enrichment. I don't think I have a food enrichment, actually. Alright, you're not going to be able to get a food enrichment then. Our fennec foxes, same thing. Let's give you just a little bit. I actually have no enrichment for fennec foxes. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to catch up on, is our research is lagging behind. If we go to vet research, we're not even done with the scimitar horned oryx yet, and we haven't started on the dromedary camel. So our ability to construct new exhibits is actually outpacing our ability to research the animals that live in them. So it seems like a good time to just take a year off, dress up some of these guest areas, make sure that we're able to keep guests fed, hydrated, nourished, etc. And with our $2,000 that we now have, we can take this toilet block. We can slide it in over here. There is going to be a second toilet on this thing eventually. Check that this is inside your power radius. It's not. Needs to come further over here. Maybe to right about there. And then that one should be powered as well. And then we'll just wait until we have the green light to buy this thing. Protesters have arrived? That's bad. Especially because we have an inspection coming up. Can I please have $2,000 so that I can put this down so I can figure out what's getting protested? The other thing we might need to worry about here is we bought a lot of employees. Yep. Unfortunate. All right, we're going to have to do this later. We bought a lot of employees last time. Now, why are you protesting? One of our camels is upset. How can this be? What's your problem? What do you mean social? What do you mean overcrowding? Did I really destroy your navigable terrain that much? Oh. Huh. Okay. But then you guys are fine. Yeah, you just need to slide this building over. I can do that. Select all of this, and then deselect this. And then put all of that... Oh, you can't put it in a group because there's grid pieces with it. But if you just move this over to about here, and then maybe spin it a bit. Does that let you navigate, my friend? There you go. You feeling better now? I think he's feeling better now. So you can go home. You've cost me $500, which is very annoying. But you can go home now because the problem is solved. And then I also have my $2,000 to put my bathroom in. It looks like maybe our budget problems aren't as bad as I originally thought, but we'll see. You are going to need to get added to the work zone back here now. This is Arid Sahara Guest Services. Add the restroom to that. And then what's the other problem? Oh, our vet research is done. Hooray! What do you have for me that's new at level 5? Breeding research, fun fact, food enrichment, toy enrichment. What new food and toy did you get? Any of them that I want to put in? I don't see anything new here. Maybe it's their hanging grazer feeder? I don't think we had one of those previously. But your toy enrichment and food enrichment is fine. You actually could use... Oh, here's... You know what? You know what? They could use just a little bit more food enrichment. What if we had a hanging grazer feeder that sticks out of a corner of their shelter? Something like this. That takes you to 40 of 30. Obviously, if you're going to have food here, we'll need to dress that up just a little bit. I swear we'll get to what we actually need to get to today. It's just all... It's all happening all at once here. Many urgent tasks to take care of all at the same time. Although I guess putting down a feeder is really better. There we go. Alright, so this is what I want to work on today. All of you, and then, if possible, you, and if money permits, you, because we can put an information center and stuff in there. The idea for design over here that I like is on this side, I want to have this look like a ruined wall that copies from this design. And then through here and into here, I want it to be a more open plaza that copies this design with the breeze block base trim. So let's get started on that. This, I think, is just going to be a garden. Breeze block base. Breeze block base trim club. So we're going to put one of them in like this. Then we're going to put one of them in like this. And that's it. That's our whole shape. Merge it into a group. Start moving it around. You can go here. And then we're just going to duplicate this all the way along. Not a case where we really need to be that precise at all. A little bit of natural variation and imperfection is good. This is a relatively cheap date at 10 bucks. We're going to be placing a lot of it, but I don't think it's going to break the bank. Keep you coming around this corner. We could also think about making like some little info booths over here. I want to keep working on guest education. And we don't have any of the little info boards set up for stuff that isn't habitat animals. Like the deforestation banners and things like that. So we could make some little dioramas here of those. We're definitely inside the power network here. So it's a reasonable place to try and put them. I guess they had somewhere to be in a hurry. And then here we spin you around. And we just start going this way. The join's a little sloppy. Oh, this is also a little sloppy. I guess the train goes down here. Let's grab all of you. Make sure you're in a group. And then I will do a bit of editing on you to bring you closer to the train level. There we go. Enter group edit. We'll just slide each of these pairs down so that the taller brick is touching sand. Money is recovering very nicely. We're not even halfway through the year and we're at 6K. I think the fennec fox and eventually the sandcat habitat are going to cost somewhere around 15. So if I had like 10 to start, then over the course of a year, we could make the other 10K. But mesh is just an expensive piece, and I'm going to need to use quite a bit of the half meter by half meter to close off gaps, so we need to let money rebuild a bit in order to make any progress on that. You come down a bit like that. Alright, good. Then grab these, duplicate, and we'll start coming back up. Rotate you here. Let's do something like that. It's a little bit of a lazy join. And then slide you back through here. Move these around just a little bit to get a little bit more variation on them. And now we can go back the way we came. Be able to put some of our sunshades in here. I think we have like 3 different sunshades blueprints to draw from now. I think having those scattered all over the place is just going to make this whole area feel a little bit more coherent. One of our common design elements. But we shouldn't need any fencing or anything like that here. I'd like this to feel kind of open. And then here you can start coming back up. Because we are coming back up this hill. Yeah, pretty severely at this rate. And again, some of these don't line up perfectly. That's okay. I don't think it's something that if you were doing in real life, you'd have like a mason coming in here and measuring every single thing. It is not a section of the park that demands mathematical precision. The section of the park that you actually want to look a little disheveled. And one of the best ways to make something look disheveled is by doing it relatively quickly. And not taking time to line every single thing up. Alright. So that's our little stone garden. Let's go ahead and start planting in it. I think we want to start with huge Natraria bushes as our first action here. And then can I have a couple of smaller dead ones in front? Also, you can turn random rotation on for this. Along here, we can have a little bit of flower. Are they protesting still? God, go away. I fixed the camel problem. What do you still have to do here? Why are you mad about this ADAX? What's your problem, Shabana? Just go hide. Go inside. I've given you lots of places that you can hide. You can just go and hide. We'll do a little bit of tree action in here as well. Yeah, that's a nice tall one. And then maybe like a small coconut palm or a small date palm. Or is that going to look too tropical? No, it doesn't look that tropical. Not in this context, at least. And then we'll do a bunch of dried drin grass through here. Same thing over here. And then we'll do a little rock feature in the middle. Give me a moderately sized desert. Spin it a bit so it actually fits in here. Good. And then give me one of the brown ones. Right about there. Contribute a little bit of visual interest to the middle of it, so it's not just plants all the way through. Alright, Scimitar Horned Orcs is done. Let's get to work on Dromedary Camel. Got 2 new food enrichment items out of that. Let's see if it's anything that we can place. It is... I don't immediately see it. Maybe a grazing ball feeder? But I think they've got everything. So you're good there. Maybe I'll give you like a medium food drop inside. Is that the kind of thing that will maybe incentivize you to come get away from the prying eyes of guests? They give you a food drop inside and you can go and eat there. Let's finish this out. I want to use a plant that I haven't used before. But I think we've put... Oh, we could put century plants in. Century plants are nice. Or an aloe vera. Actually, you know what? We haven't used aloe vera like at all. The small non-flowering one. Facilities. Let's also get you recycling bins in here now that we can afford them. I think that's something that helps our conservation rating out just a little bit. Can also put one on this side. Can give you some nice themed benches through here to sit on. We'll just adjust this. This Nitrari is actually too big. I need a smaller Nitrari. Nitrari 5 will do. And then we could also light this. Grab one of you. Stick you here. Grab one of you. Stick you here. And then we just need to slide this tree around. So you're not clipping through the light pole. Good. Now, I'd like to do the same thing on the far side. So grab, let's say 6 of these. Move them over here, move them up. Split these from the rest of the group. Add them to a new group. They're in a new group, they're good. And then start positioning these. This is going to be just a little bit of a lead-in into this path. I actually think I'm going to do different decoration down this path when we get to it. But for now, having it sit here is going to help make the eatery area specifically feel a bit more themed up. You can come around like this. We'll just keep sliding this up. You're going to rotate like this. This is also going to hide some of the weird hard edges on this path. So it doesn't look like it just stops. And it's going to run all the way into this breeze block wall that we eventually extend out. Now I'll extend you out one more. But that's about as far as this wall is going to go. Past this point, we're going to do something else. I don't know what that is yet, but we're going to do something else with it. to give ourselves a larger sized rock here. I don't think I need to go with rock 01. Rock 01 is a little big. But we can do rock 02. You can sit here. You can stick a bit of green grass next to you. And because this is headed into the more arid section of the zoo, with the Adax and with the scimitar horned antelope, I'm going to make this look much drier. So we're not going to have a tree here. We're only going to have dry nitraria, and then just maybe one large-ish nitraria in the back is a suggestion that it's a little more verdant. So, on to dromedary camel. I don't think we're going to get a ton of enrichment stuff for dromedary camel that we don't already have. Because, you know, it's just another hoofed animal. But we'll see. And it's already November. So we're only at 9,700. Man, our budget is not great. Although, is this our... No, that's our... Is that our total profit this year? Surely not. It does not feel like we made that much money this year. Then again, if our cash flow is 8,600, maybe we've spent a bunch. Well, 9,700 should be enough to do what we need to do. The point being that I think we need to move on to staying paused forever now, so that we can finish this up in relatively short order. So the next thing that I wanted to put in was a little bit of a mud wall along here that emulates the way that these ruins look. So let's go mud. Let's grab... I think a 2x1 panel will do me just fine. Maybe a 2x4 panel. Is this actually... Yeah, this is thicker. Alright, I actually want the thick wall. It's going to be annoying, because this is a grid piece, and I don't necessarily want this thing to be on the grid. But I think that's just the break sometimes. Maybe I can get away with like a little bit of gridding. So you here... I like this little trick of playing around with the heights. So we'll do a little bit of that. Maybe this is the kind of place where you could use a little bit of a half arch wall. Just to look like, you know, something different was there. And then have a circular at the end. Oh, that's funky. That's really funky. Like, what are you doing here? Yeah. Instantly, I'm all about that. I do want it to be short enough that I can put like a plant in it. I guess just bring it up to be level with the rest of the wall. And then slide this wall over just a little bit. Oh, that works for me. That works for me in a big way. Also, I'm going to break this thing up off the grid. It looks too regular. So we will enter group edit mode and split you from the group. Advanced move you, rotate you a bit. Move you out just a bit. and then enter the group, split you from the group, advance can move you, have you turn back in, come to about here. And then move you around a little bit as well. So I don't really know what your thing is. I don't know why you're here. Like what function you served for the building that used to be here. But you're kind of cool, I guess. And then could I get like a quarter circle as well? Again, don't really know what I'm doing here. Just freestyling. Freestyling, looking for weird shapes. Looking for something to provoke a bit of mystery and thought in the viewer. Does it achieve it? I don't know. Maybe. Looks like it used to be something. I also want to borrow this motif. Grab all of you. Move you over here. Split you from your group. And then I want to move each of you individually, being on top of here. There used to be a construction here that went further up, but it has since been lost to the sands. These are already too tall. I can tell I'm going to want to shorten them. What if I just leave them? Oh, I like them barely stubbing out of this. Shorten these three. I think I like that. Yeah? Yeah, looking pretty good. I also want this to give the impression of a sand dune. So I wonder if I can pull that off. Raise this up a bit. Raise this up a bit. Obviously not like a big sand dune, but I want it to look like sand is piled up there. And then can I squeeze in the back here, your friend and mine, some Nitraria bushes. So it looks like this divot is actually just filled with vegetation. Salt cedar's probably going to be a little too much. It's too much. Every time I look at the salt cedar, it's too much. But we'll add a little bit of foliage around here. A little bit around here. This seems like a great place to have a set of sunshades. So let's grab one of those. This would also be your opportunity to put one over here, if you wanted. How's it look? It's kind of big. Yeah, it's really big for this section of the zoo. I can bring it down a bit. Well, you know what? When you bring it down, maybe it's not that bad. Alright, so we'll do one here. We'll have one over here against this wall. Get you just a little spun around. This one you can raise up a little bit. And then you'll want a couple of benches in there. I like the look of African Bench 01. We'll just keep using that. Along the inside of this wall, we can put a couple flowers. Have it look like a little bit of growth in here. Just because it's a desert doesn't mean that all of the areas have to look ugly and barren. These will be sections that maybe zookeepers would keep watered. And then what do you want to do along this back wall? More ruins? I don't know if you want to do more ruins. You might want to do like a rock wall or something. You also might want to move these tables around so that they are just a little more lined up with each other. They look a bit more organized. Should also allow you to fit more of them in. I think there was also another part of you that was saving that back wall for more shop space, but it's a little narrow now that I look at it. And I don't think that's actually something I want to do. I'll just leave this as like the eatery area. Yeah, so that's a place for people to sit down. We'll have a smaller one over here. Get rid of these, so I have a little bit more room to play around with. So we can have one go like this. One go like this. This and this. So that's most of the seating that we'll need, I think. You still need something going on. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe we make space for one big palm tree. Yeah, I think we make space for one big palm tree. Just because it's such a perfect planter. And then show me mulch. Probably a 2-meter circle, probably a 4-meter circle. Yeah, no, probably like a 3-meter circle. It's just a little bit smaller than a 4-meter circle and just a little bit bigger than a 3-meter circle, which is very nice. But we can get it done. Something like that. And can I also get lights? Do I have like a small floodlight? I do. I mean, it's called wall lamp, but I think it'll do what I want it to do. And what I want it to do is point up at this tree. I don't know how much light that's actually going to produce, but it might be interesting. You never know. You've been rotated all the wrong ways there somehow. You know what? You need to do this. Put it on the world grid. And then spin it around 180. Can I just see what these look like on? They're more about lighting underneath them than they are about lighting the tree, but whatever. I think it's fine. plants, gives me desert, Africa. Dress this up a little bit. Dress this up. Yeah, looking okay. And I guess back here I will just do rock. But let's take care of this building first. How do we want to set this thing up? For one, I want to make it look a little bigger. So we're going to move you out by 1. Duplicate you. And move you out by 1. We could also move this back by 1. And then to create a little bit of an unusual shape, we can go like this. So all this space in the back is not going to get used, but it's going to be the shape of the concession stand. Move this back in here, move this back in here. What I really liked is how this building came out, and I think that's a theme that I want to copy. So it's going to be big stone pillars at each of the 4 corners, and in fact I can just grab those now. Bring them over here. Split them from their group. And then add them to this. And then edit this group. So we'll move these things into place. Where they are on the grid right now is currently all kinds of fricked up, but we can deal with that later. And then you're going to have to figure out how tall you want this to be. I don't think it needs to go crazy, so maybe something like this. And then move these down until they don't clip into each other anymore. There you go. So now we'll move this thing around. Set it up at each of the corners of the building. Looks like it's not complaining that much about not being lined up with the walls, which is good. We may have gotten our rotation pretty close to correct on the first try. Oh, maybe not. Ah, well, we'll fix it later. And then I'm also going to have them be right next to the front of the stalls. So we're going to have one here. And we're going to have one here. I really think if you don't take the time to line this up in the front, you're going to be kicking yourself. So, let's do that. And then while we're at it, let's get rid of this one too. Because this is the culprit. This is where the problem started. Yeah, hide from me. That is breeze block column. Off random rotation. Align to surface, surface rotation, position snap. The angle snap on for this as well. So we'll have one go here. We'll pull it out to the center line on the brick, which I think we've got perfectly right there. Maybe just a little over. And then we duplicate 1, 2, 3. And then we duplicate. And we shove it into the ground. And then we duplicate. And now when we slide this over, it should be perfectly aligned to the existing grid pieces. Because if I want to put any trim or anything like that on the front of this building, we are going to regret it. If it's not, you know, lined up. Because if we try and lay any kind of straight piece across the front of it whatsoever, it's going to go completely haywire. You have room in between? You do have room in between. Oh, I like that. Yeah, this is the way. This is only like 20 bucks. It's a steal. Still at 8,200. We will have money to do Fennec Fox habitat next time. Unless we blow an enormous amount of money detailing the rest of this. But for how cheap this is coming together so far, I think it'll be okay. Here. And then up to here. And then just one more. So what are the other theme elements from that Scimitar Horned Oryx exhibit? It is tan mud walls. Because they've got a bit of texturing to them. No, it's plaster. Okay. Plaster. We want small pieces of plaster around these shop fronts. I think I also want trim at the bottom. Do you want breeze block trim at the bottom, though? I don't know. What other fun kind of like wall decorations do you have? You could put African sticks on it. African sticks bamboo. Rhino panel? That's going to be a killer wall decoration for later. Like on this. And then on this. Well, then again, rhinos and gorillas aren't going to be in the zoo. Never mind. You might just want to use the shields instead. You could use bamboo rotated. But there's not bamboo in the desert, though. There's not bamboo in the desert, but it is like a pretty economical building material. And maybe it wouldn't be that unusual to have it here. It also looks good. Would you rather have it painted then? Because then you've really got some visual interest going on. Yeah, I think you'd rather have it painted. Because then you can alternate the paints. You can go like this. Actually, I'm sure these are flex color. So you don't even need to do that, but you can alternate the designs. Yeah, alright. Love that. And then everything above that we can do in plaster. Pull you out. Get your color right. What are your colors? I forgot your color palettes. I like this sandy color. What are you? BCA 27C. You got it. Can you give me BCA 27C? Thank you. This is going to be pricey. Plaster is not as cheap as breeze block pillars are, apparently. And we're going to need to put a lot of these in. That's only 10, it's not actually that bad. And then we can take these 6. Duplicate them across. Make sure they're not intruding into the shop itself. Good. And then up top, probably can just use a really long piece of 1x4. Comes down to about here. Okay. Then grab one of these, duplicate, make it into the full 4x4. This is going to be the walls. I'm going to have these recessed a bit, because we can set up a little wall diorama here. And then I'm also going to add trim to the top of these. Duplicate, base trim. Bring this up to the top. I want this to look a little more fortress-like. I know we've kind of abandoned the fortress motif in some of these sections, but it's still present, like, you know, here, and a little bit, like, here, with that kind of looking like battlements a little bit. So we can recapture some of that and have this look like a little bit more of a modern fort. Sad. It's because you rotated this piece. Alright. It's trying to take the average of that rotation. Slide this through here. Grab this, duplicate. Slide this through here. It's a lot of exposed wall. What if you had one that just came down the middle? Yeah, it's not horrible. Do you want to cooperate? Definitely do not want to cooperate. No interest in cooperation whatsoever from you. And I don't think I had the foresight to build this on the world grid either. Which is something that would have solved that issue. Yep, definitely didn't. So that's what it's trying to do, is it's trying to orient to the world grid. But because I built this at a 45-degree angle to the world grid, like a fool, it's going to make my life trying to rotate it very annoying. What if I select all of it? Oh, hey. That's something I can work with. Don't mind if I do. Should have known. But it saves us a little bit of money to not duplicate that one over specifically. And we can do something very fun back here, which is that we can have a little pretend door. This would be like a service entrance or something like that. So we'll go ahead and put that in. Can't rotate it though. That's fine. I think that's sufficient. Definitely makes this building look very tall in the back. Maybe I don't want to do that. Is it visible from, like, literally anywhere? It is not visible at all. Okay, we will not do that. If it was in a visible spot, I think I could be tempted. But seeing as I think nobody is ever going to look back there, we'll just skip it. Alright, so that's basic framing of this building done. I'm not going to carry the stone over. I actually think instead what I might do is I might make these slightly taller. It's going to be a nightmare to select the ones in the back from here. Oh, maybe it's not. And then we can have a very gentle sloping roof off the back. Why I would want to make my life harder by doing a sloped roof instead of just a flat roof, I can't tell you. But if it gives me room to put some of the Chief Beef signage in, and the Gulpy signage in, I'm on board. So we'll move that up a little bit. We'll move these up a little bit. And then what does my roof trim look like? You're using a lot of these round pillars over here. And then over here you're using this group, which is just primitive rectangle and then thin painted planks. I can get signage in here. Let's do that. So we'll have a Chief Beef here, because that's where it is. And then we'll have one here. And then we have a Gulpy on the other side. We're going to need to move these plaster pieces up. I'll duplicate them actually. Liking it. I think I'm liking it. I should really be splitting these into a group with how often I have to select them, but a little late for that, I suppose. Because I think this will be the last time I have to select them. So this is going to have themes of both the ADEX enclosure and the Oryx enclosure. And that we're going to have a section of raised roof at the front. And then the rest of the roof is going to be lower overall. So that's basic structure of how this is going to look. Let's put sunshades in as well. I wonder if I can use my... Will my bespoke sunshades fit, or are they too wide? They are... You know, they may not be too wide. No, in fact, I think they're just right. I think you can make this work. But you want to make sure that this is exactly lined up with your wall. And it is not right now. So you want something like this. And then we're going to split this thing in half. You and you are going to move closer to here. You forgot your third piece. There you go. You're going to move closer to here. And then you're also going to copy this all the way down. Here. And then here. And here. And here. And with that, I need to take a really brief pause, but because I am recording this, I'm just going to pause OBS and I will be right back. All right, the conveniences of recording. I've been gone for, I think, close to an hour, taking an important phone call. And for you, it's been nothing at all. So we're going to finish this sunshade. Lovely. I do think I like that. I might want to extend these down at the bottom. Make sure you're on angle snap. Give these a spin. Move them in just a little bit. Move them up just a little bit. Yep. You don't want to cooperate, that's fine. I'll just do the same thing over here. I don't need you to be on the grid. I can just copy from over here. They might not be exactly the same height, but who's going to notice? So that is our shops. Let's put a really quick roof in. Corrugated plastic, flat roof. Select this grid. It just barely pokes through, but we're going to have some roof trim up here that hides it. Here, 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 and here. Here it's going to drop down. I'll just smear this all along the back of the building. That's your roof. These need to move up a little bit, it looks like. Okay, select this one inside as well. Thank you. Not sure why they're lower than they need to be, but we can move them up. About there looks good. And it is really just the front too. Then we slide you up a little bit. There we go. Take our plaster. cover up these gaps in the roof. Probably line it up with the roof as well. Right about there. And right about here, if I had to guess. And then for these, I could just bring those all the way back. That is a mostly complete concession stand building, and I have to say, so far, it looks really good. Let's grab a little bit of our wall decoration as well. I really do like this design, and I think I'm gonna steal it. So pull you over here, somewhere where I can isolate you from the rest of your group. Split you, move you. It's not going to be quite 90 degrees. It's going to be a little bit more. I think you've pretty much gotten it. No, not you. I think you have pretty much gotten it. Here we can rotate 90 then. Because at least this building is square. Smear you all along the back. I don't think anyone is ever going to be able to see back here, but just in case. We'll do ever so little detailing back here. On the off chance that some guest gets like, you know, wanders away or something. And is able to peer beyond the veil. And then I'm not going to do the top. I'm just going to do the bottom. And instead of the top, I forgot that I did that over here. You know, you can run right past it. There you go. Instead of the top, I'm going to use some of those African shields that we have. We go into wall decor, and then we go to filters, and we go to theme. Africa. It should be all of our African animals. What are you? I think you're a zebra. You're an ox. You're a rhino. You're a lion. You are masks. Rhino, lion, gorilla, rhino. It's not going to be any of the desert animals that we like. And then these are both monkeys. So instead, we'll just use some shields. Can I fit both of them? Yes. And then over on this side, I guess I'll do masks. Alright. And then the last thing that we need to do is the roof trim. The roof trim, previously I did off screen. But now that I know how it works, I think I can do it much faster. So we're going to take primitive square, slide you up to about here, slide you in so you're just barely covering this, move you over to about here, and then I want to give you a nice dark brown color. Something like that. Then if I duplicate you, we get this nice little mask for this ugly roof edge. And then we can come back later and we can add trim to it with a little bit of wood. So we're going to slide this all the way around the outside. There's other stuff that you could do this with that makes your life easier. Like, there's tons of really nice painted plaster in the Northern Africa theme. But if you don't have any of that, or if you just don't really have any of the expansions in general, you can actually use these primitive shapes to get a lot of work done. It's just as easy as that. This took much longer on the AdAxe enclosure because the AdAxe enclosure has a ton of weird shapes to it. But this is no shapes at all. Just nice, smooth lines. Oh, come on. There you go. Nah, you should copy from up here. That way you can make sure you're getting the height exactly right. About here, and then you can take this whole front copy it to the back, okay, slide you back to about here. Make sure you have a nice flush join with that corner. And then the same thing with you. Slide you down to about here. A nice flush join. So that's most of your trim. I'm going to add a little bit of wood. Okay. A little bit too much zoom. I'm going to add... What is going on with my camera right now? I can't zoom in any further than that. Camera, what are you... There we go. That is you getting very weird on me. Plank thin, I think is the name of what I'm looking for. Yeah, here it is. Thin painted plank. These are going to be our little accent pieces. So we're going to do one up to here. And then we're going to do one up to here. Unlucky. One of these days I'll figure out how to actually build correctly, so that that doesn't happen. As far as I understand it, it's because the game tries to average the rotation and coordinates and position, etc. of the thing that you're trying to place. Where did my last piece of wood go? It's in there. You just need to pull it down. The game is trying to average the position of the thing it's trying to place. And so if you take one thing and you rotate it 90 degrees, and then you try and move both things, it averages them out to be at like a 45-degree angle. And there's a way that you can fix it, and I don't remember what it is. Also, I want that to be the darkest painted what I have. I want it to match this accent. What color are you? 783 FO4. F4. Good. And then by some miracle, will you let me duplicate you now? No. Oh, that's fine. Because I think I can still get you to line. You don't want to cooperate, but I'm going to make you cooperate. That's about where you want it. And then from here, I think I can just duplicate one of you. So I can slide this all the way down. I can slide this all the way down. And you. And you. That's probably good enough. I actually don't think I'm going to do trim on the back. Oh, it's going to look bad if you don't, though. Oh, but I was going to see it, though. Will this work? Nope. Hates that. What about this? Nope. What if you save it as a group? No. Definitely not. Alright. Well, this is going to take me a little longer than I thought then. But we definitely need trim on the top. Otherwise, it is going to look horrible. Well, let's just do this. I have an idea. Right? What if we go like this? This is all one single piece that's never been rotated. And now if I duplicate you, yes. That's what I'm looking for. And then I can rotate you like this. Alright, that is going to speed things up pretty significantly. And you go here. And you go... Do you like the fact that, these pillars don't go all the way to the top? I don't think I do. I think I want them to go all the way to the top. And I'm not going to bring their friends that are behind the scenery either. I think this will look fine. Yeah, man, I like this building. I think this building is coming together really nicely. So then can I edit you? And copy you all the way back. And then we'll do the same thing back. Oh, I missed a board. Oh, it's going to be a pain to select. No, it doesn't matter, because it's going to be hidden under a column. Actually, never mind. You had the group. Clearly, I have forgotten how to build. Out by one, set you up. Slide you down. Hold the pillars up. I'll have it a little shorter in the back. Maybe that's the kind of thing that's interesting to people. There's definitely a limit to, like, making a shape irregular for fun. But I think there's also times when if you just make things look like they aren't exactly the same, it comes out kind of good. I don't know what camp we currently fall into for this building. We'll have to look at it when we're done with it completely. But for what I've got now, I'm really pleased with it so far. I see that one missing pillar. We'll pull it up in a second. Here. There. And then the last one to do is going to be over here. That's a little too high. Can I get you to not clip into your friend? There we go. Put you back to here. Again, these haven't been rotated, so they're not going to put up much of a fight. Should be able to slide them around wherever we need them to go. And given that that should be quite a bit easier now, I will go ahead and do this back trim. If I can get it done in like a couple minutes, that's fine. So there's that. And then if I grab the flat pieces, which would be here and here, they were going to put up a fight. Okay. Well, what if I grab just you? Oh, because I'm rotating you right there. Of course. Here. And here. Now can I grab you? No. Alright. We'll do it the slow way then. Even still, it's not that slow. I do it out here. Same thing with top pieces. Same thing with these around the side. This group is such an absolute mess. I'll probably clean that up later. This is also taking a little bit more money than I wanted it to. We're down to 3,200. Not exactly sure what we did that was that expensive, but if I had to guess, probably plaster. Or maybe just all the boards and the sunshades. Still think we'll be okay for finances to do Fennec Fox next time. But I think that is a completed concession stand, and it looks really good. I like it a lot. I want to do a little bit more detailing here, though. Sunshade. This isn't actually going to have a shade attached to it. Instead, I want it to have signage. So sign, or is it brace? Or is it bracket? There it is. Then it's do sign bracket. It's actually a little bigger than I remember. Maybe we can still get this to work. We'll see. Yeah, I need something bigger than the sunshade. Or, actually, what if we just flip it upside down? Because then we can hide the hook of it underground. And then we can try and put a bracket on the fatter part of it. So you would come up here. Yeah, you know, that'll do. So we'll have one go here and one here. And you are going to hold these guys. Or is there a smaller sign? That's too big. That's obviously too big. That's too big. Yeah, it's these guys. So there's going to be a little logo here for, hey, this is where you can get Chief Beef. And there's going to be one down here for Gulpy. And then we're going to duplicate this thing. We're going to move one over here as well. So that people know what is on offer here. And then also maybe a restroom sign. Spin you around 180 degrees, move you down one. Or maybe just put it here. Toilet? Exactly. Can I get one even smaller? No, that's the smallest it goes. Alright. That's too big, man. That's really the smallest toilet sign we have? That can't be right. Wall decorations? Awnings and fascias? What category are you even under? Thief. Oh, signs, duh. What do we have for signs? Oh, here's the barrier signs that I was looking for. We'll have to put those over in the other section that we had going, where we don't want people to go down the guest path. And toilet signs small. That's just how big the toilet signs are, I guess. Well, that's annoying. I wanted to have them a little small. Yeah, the information sign is big. All of them are big. It's just the advert signs that are really small. Alright, well, let's do it then. We can't just not tell people that there's, like, not toilets. Obviously. Toilet sign. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Slide this up. Spin at 180. Actually, don't spin at 180. Have it come out adjacent to the path. And then it'll kind of look like one of those signs that gives directions. You know, the ones that are like, you know, New York City, this many miles away. Signpost. Whatever those things are called. Okay. These editable? Flexicolor? Holy cow, they are. That symbol color guy will go a deserty orange. That's too low contrast. Maybe that's alright. And then I can make the background the darker. Just a little touches that make the place feel more themed. Okay. And then you... I guess we'll leave you there. We will duplicate this toilet block, so we have a second toilet block. And then we're basically going to use the same structure that we used for the food court with our... Well, we need to let this run for a year. We have $900 left. Maybe we're not as good on money as we thought. Add that new toilet block to the work zone as well. This is also going to be entrance area, toilets 1, entrance area, toilets 2. How are you doing on theming scores here? Scenery rating 100, I love that. Entrance, Gulpy, entrance area, Gulpy 2. Entrance area, Gulpy 1. Entrance area, Chief Beef 1. Entrance area, Chief Beef. Why is guest happiness here so low? You're thirsty. Okay, go get a drink then. Maybe we should put condiments on some burgers. Like, how about some ketchup, some pickles, some mustard? Oh, this is the XL? The XL is going to have everything, obviously. And then the Chief Burger is going to be ketchup, mustard, cheese. No. Ketchup, mustard, pickles. Just a little bit of it. And then synchronize these costs to all shops. Synchronize condiments to all shops. Yeah, perfect. And then for Gulpy drinks, obviously all of this is going to need ice in it. Because we're in the middle of the dang old desert. Synchronize that to all shops. See if that keeps people a little happier. And then just let a little bit more money roll in. We are at December 12. So this is all we are going to be able to do. I still got to do something with this back wall, actually. You know, I could put a little bit of, like, this in back there. There could just be a little garden back here as well. I might do that. Also dress up this part of the path, maybe with that stone brick as well. There's a little bit more theming and framing and stuff that I want to do around this area. It's possible that I just do the rest of that. Why? Oh my god, so many protesters. Why? What are you mad about? Trying to hide? You have a burrow. Just go in the burrow. gonna have to fix that now. I did get a useful comment that pointed out that rocks block all line of sight. So check this out. Get ready for the ugliest guest view blocking that you've ever seen. And then move their trees so they can still use it. Alright. Sandcat rebuild cannot come fast enough. Africa theme is done. What do we want to work on next? I don't think we need to do another theming. But I also don't think I need to grab shops right now. We could maybe grab power. It's convenient that for solar and for wind, that they actually don't harm guest opinion if they're close to the path. So I think we'll go with that. And then with my remaining 2,800, let's go ahead and get these toilet blocks taken care of. Freeze block, column, please. So we're gonna have one of you here. Here. The toilets are just gonna have the same general theming that this food court area does. We're not gonna do anything super fancy with them. So you go like this. Like this. Like this. And like this. And then one more of them. Like this. We don't need to do any plaster on the front. We may actually be able to go straight to roof. Selecting this grid. Maybe having it be a 1 meter. We'll do a little bit of a sloped roof on these. And then you can just angle your trim. Now do a flat roof. It's going to save you so much time. Do that. And then come over here. Right, that's all a group. You're going to have to ignore that for now then. Duplicate this. Slide it over to here. Take time to make sure that this is flat. That pillar needs to come out. There we go. Here. Definitely want to angle snap if you're just going to have it turn around a corner. Then you can plaster up the sides. Duplicate that. Get plaster. Sink it in a little bit. Good. Doesn't clip with anything else. And then you definitely need... I think I just want thicker trim on the top of this. Paintable. Painted. Yeah, painted. I want the square beam. Yeah. We'll have this building just look a little chunkier. Actually, it can come out and around these pillars. That's some serious dimension. And then how small of a piece can I get? 2 meter? Eh. It's okay. Although, what is going on here? Are you not... You're like ever so slightly not square, I guess. I can fix that. I just don't need to do it right now. Bring you to back here. Bring you around. Copy this down. And then bring these around. Although you have a pretty significant gap here. You might need to pull these back in. And then pull these back in. Again, these have never been rotated, so you should be fine. Yeah, you're fine. I don't know what's going on with this pillar. But if we just move you in like this, then we should be able to take any one of these and have them run straight down. Okay. And then add your little bit of trim on the bottom too. Yeah, it's not going to snap. Just line it up yourself. You can turn just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. There you go. That should be good enough. Doesn't need to be perfect here. And then angle snap to move it around the back. And then for this one, I am going to copy it up to the top. We just want to send it up high enough that it's not actually poking through anything. Should be fine there. This has a very small gap in it. Let's get our grid height set correctly. Okay. And then I guess you should add restroom signs to this specifically. So that people know it's this building. And that's your restrooms. I'm going to copy a little bit of this stonework over. Angle snap off. I actually don't like that that's how it lines up. Give me these 4. There we go. We'll pull these around to where the shops are. And then we can put in a little bit of plant work here as well. We could actually even have you join into the building. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then do it here, too. Especially because the toilet block is like a little raised. You can use it to cover up the ugly curb piece. Cool. And I do think I'm just going to use the square stone over there. So back here, I want to set up a bit of a facade. You are still trying to align to terrain. Stop doing that. There we go. It's going to go from here to about over here. And then it's going to turn here. And this is just going to break up guest sightlines through this area. Make it look like there's not just an enormous empty space back here if they try and go looking around. And we'll leave the dune in the back. That's very desert themed. Yeah, so a nice little breakup of sightlines. Enormous Nitraria in the back here. The largest Nitraria you have. We can random rotate here. Maybe even a salt cedar back here. Because this is the one spot where you actually want it to break up some sightlines with its enormity. And then as you get closer to the stone, Dry-Drain Grass. Fading into Dry Nitraria. And we'll keep this fairly Spartan as well. Dragon's Blood Tree is going to be way too big. Way too big. So that would be a couple more Nitraria. We just need that to hide that there's nothing going on back there. And then here, I don't think we'll need it. But we're down to 800 bucks. So as much as I want to finish up this tiny little corner, I think that's all we actually have the money to do. I am still concerned about the state of our budget, but man, does it not look good in here or what? I'm really happy with how this came out, and it just helps to make the whole zoo feel a little bit more developed. This is still obviously a pretty naked corner. We've got stuff to work on there. All of this that goes around this way is something that I'm going to work on when we do the overall kind of like overhaul of this exhibit section when we get to it later on. But that's all we're going to do for now. Hopefully our budget is able to hold it together next time. We're making money hand over fist. We have a $5,000 loan available, and we have the big $50,000 loan available if we need it, but I'd really like to try and avoid that one if possible. Overall, we have a good, healthy cash flow, and I think if we're patient, we should be able to build that fennec fox habitat next time. I didn't even get around to making the fencing for it because we ended up spending all of our money on this plaza, but that'll be something that's coming up next time. So if you enjoyed this this non-animal focused episode of Empirical Sahara, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the video to let me know. I use those kind of metrics to figure out how I want to structure these episodes, what kind of stuff I want to focus on, what I want to design. And if you're looking forward to the next episode, make sure you have notifications on, and you can also join my Discord if you would like pings for when these episodes come out in the future. But until then, I will see you guys next time for year 6 of Empirical Sahara. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.